Hello Pisces, this is your October 15th to October 31st, 2016 read. For the main read, I'm going to use the Morgan Greer Tarot. I've had this deck for a long time and I'm just not sure where the box is right now, but this is the Morgan Greer Tarot. And for the advice cards, I'm using the Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish, which I think this is a pretty cool deck as well. So that's what we're going to do this part of the month. As normal, I have already shuffled the deck, so we're going to get right into it. Being a Pisces myself, alright, we'll start with it. I know that the last read was a really good one. It was good times, I remember that, and love coming in. Now, this is interesting because as we're going into this phase, your crowning factor is the Death card, which a lot of times I see this as a positive card, where it basically means, like this flower, especially in this deck, this flower really shows having a peace of mind, being in a good state, the birth of a new situation, sometimes going to a new level, excuse me. And I'm also getting, the way I'm reading this one right now, I'm getting like a commitment. I'm getting a commitment through this. So let's find out as we go forward. We'll do the advice cards. Lately I've been doing the advice cards right in the beginning, but today I think I'm going to hold off for a moment and see where we go. Okay, so as we start into this time frame, we got the Two of Cups for us, for you, for Pisces. I say us because I'm a Pisces. And what I see here, when I'm looking at this card, I'm noticing one quick thing, at least the way I'm interpreting it. The way I'm reading this, they're not actually clouds, but they feel like dark clouds around the situation, and I almost feel like these two people are very interested in each other, but they're not seeing eye to eye just yet. I feel like one of them is really pushing, and the other one is into the relationship. Like they're both interested in each other. One's a little more than the other, and it seems like their paths aren't honed in on the same direction just yet. It seems like they're going pretty much like they have the same idea, but it's almost like they're talking and they're thinking they're understanding each other, but they're not. They're just a little off from what the other is thinking. Like, it's just not in fine tune yet. And environmentally, we have like a lot of good social times going on. So I feel like they're happy and they're doing well, but I don't feel like they're seeing eye to eye. And it might be not. I almost feel like it's not a shock to one of them, or maybe both of them. Like, they're looking in different directions, and they feel like they're close enough. They feel like they're close enough to the same path that it's okay. All right. The next card that comes into play is the Queen of Swords. Now, there's a lot of traditional meanings for the Queen of Swords, and like I always say, I read a card based on what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing all these red roses and a lot of love. I feel like, especially with this one in the center, because the one in the center looks a little weird to me. It almost looks like a piece of jewelry, and in fact, I almost feel like you may be trying to protect yourself a little, and you're expressing love, but you're trying to be a little more reserved with your expression of it, in a sense, or a little more controlled, I want to say. You're expressing love, but you're trying not to be over-emotional, is what I feel is going on here. I feel like there's a lot of goodness here, but I almost feel like you're trying to put on a brave front. Like, some things in this situation might be upsetting you a little bit or disturbing you a little, but you're trying to keep it together and trying not to make more of something. It's almost like you're aware that you can be a little oversensitive, and you're just trying to keep it together and be like, you know what, let's not lose control here. Let me not freak out. Let me just see where this is going. Like, this relationship means a lot to you, so you're just trying to keep it honed in and on the level. You're trying not to you don't want to freak out. And I feel like that little difference of direction might be bothering you. It might be more apparent to you at this point, and I feel like you might have the need to kind of freak out a little bit, but you're controlling yourself and you're keeping it together. I feel like there's a lot of passion. Like you have a lot of strength and a lot of emotion going on around you, but you're keeping it together. I feel like you're showing love, and I feel like you are communicating, but you're being very thoughtful, and you're just trying to keep it together and not over-accentuate something that doesn't have to be out of control. And this seems to still stay in this environmental area of good social times. Like things are going on well. Now this is an interesting part, because the next part we come in for you, I got the 5 of Swords, and then I got the 5 of Wands. Now, the 5 of Wands is environmental. The 5 of Swords is what's going on in your line, of what's happening directly with you. There's a change here, and I feel like the change is making you nervous. I feel like it's good. Some of you might be moving in with this other person, or there's a change going on in your life. You might even be changing a job or something that's affecting the relationship, I feel. There's a change that's affecting the relationship, but not in a bad way. I feel like the change, though, is making you nervous, and there's a lot of disruption around you. Like, I feel like people around you are kind of questioning what's happening. I'm almost feeling like you may be moving in with this person, and it may be quick. It may be a quick change. We're going to do advice cards in a minute, so I'm seeing if that's going to stick. Because I'm kind of feeling like some of you may be moving in with this person, and it just kind of throws the people, your friends and family, off. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, you just met this person like less than a month ago. What's happening? Like, I feel like that's kind of happening. Definitely this is a general read, but we'll wait till the advice cards come out, because that's when I'm getting the strongest right now. And it also kind of, in your next step of succession, you have the Page of Swords, which I feel like you're communicating what's going on in your life. I feel like you're going out and you're doing it, like you're making this change. This card right here that happens first might be making the choice and starting the process, and this is actually doing it. Swords are usually communication. I'm almost feeling like this is action. I almost feel like this is action. Typically they're communication, but I'm kind of feeling like this is action. This is like, because I'm feeling like some trees are cut down or some pillars are knocked over. Like some things have happened here and things are going on. Let's get out your advice cards and see what's going on. The romance card. That's funny. Just 2. Okay. So, right above the 2 of Pentacles, which I'm sure you can read by now, is the romance card, and the Queen of Swords, which goes right along with what we were saying. I don't see. That's why I'm feeling that death is meaning that it's going to the next level, and there's a change. Like I feel like that's what that change is. Like that's a big. Like I almost feel like this, like not seeing completely eye to eye, but kind of going the same direction. I don't know. I feel like I don't feel like if you're moving in together, I feel like you're both agreeing to do that. I just, like maybe it happens faster than you expect, or maybe faster than the other person expects. I'm not sure. That's very interesting. I think it depends on your situation. Like, I feel like you may be a little reserved about. I think it might be you. I think you might be a little more reserved about it and not wanting to make that quick step, but for some reason you do, and I feel like that's what happens. I feel like it just, something changes and an opportunity comes and you're just like, here we go. And I almost feel like that might be out of character for you. It might be, depending on how things work for you. I mean, this is a general read. Even though I'm talking to Pisces energy, you got the moon sign, of what your moon sign is affecting, of course the rising sign, you know how that works. Well, hopefully. Maybe you don't. But, I mean, It just seems like I see a lot of people on YouTube when they do the reads just kind of throw out moon sign, rising sign. But if that's, I'm just going to say that even though you're a Pisces, there's a lot more to you than just that overcoating. There's a lot deeper pieces to the astrology puzzle. I'm going to let that go. As we go forward, I'm really feeling that we're on the right track here with the, this is you, this is the environment. I feel like the environment is like really shocked. I feel like that's a shock to the people around you, and then you kind of make it happen. And I'm, like I said, swords are typically communication. I'm feeling action, and this might be energized with more action because years ago, like when I was younger, much younger, I used to, even though I knew that they were air, I used to always treat them as fire. Maybe that's why this deck is kind of charged with fire, because I kind of feel, I do feel like this is action. Your other advice card, when I'm coming back to this, is prosperity, which really makes me feel like there's a change, and it affects this relationship, but it affects it in a good way. I feel like it makes you nervous, and I feel like one of the reasons it makes you really nervous is because the people around you are like thrown right off, because I feel like it's either out of character or it just seems really like a risky move to them. Yeah, I feel like it's a good move for you. Like it's an overdue. I feel like the situation, like if you're moving in with this person, I feel like you wanted to move out of where you are. So it's almost like you weren't closed off to the idea anyway. You were very open to it even before this person came into your life, but it kind of happened fast. And it kind of like throws you off a little bit and the people around you. And I feel like the people around you kind of like, it kind of upsets you that they're kind of giving you a little guff about it. But as we go forward, as I'm looking through the whole thing all together, I feel like it's going to happen. It's not a bad thing. Like your overall energy is the Death card, which I like. A move is what really makes sense to me. To this whole puzzle we have going on here for your read. Excuse me again. I feel like it's like a deeper commitment with the relationship. One thing ends, and then something blooms from it. It just seems to fit perfectly. That just seems to be what's happening here. Of course, let me know in the comments. Always love the comments. Thank you very much for everybody who comments. I try to get back and respond to them as quickly as I can. Life's a little busy, but I do sooner or later. Sometimes it's a couple weeks. I apologize. But at least try to thumbs up them so you know I read them. So, just as a quick recap, it looks like the relationship's going well. In the beginning, you may not be seeing eye to eye around the 15th. Although I feel like you're generally going in the same direction, I just feel like it may happen faster than you're expecting or ready. I don't want to say ready for, I think expecting. Because I feel like you're more ready than you realize. I think it's going to make you nervous, and you speak with your partner on a very even keel, a very level-headed way. I feel like you're holding yourself together, and then you just kind of go and do what you have to do. I do feel like for a lot of you, it's going to be, you're going to tell people what you're doing first, and then closer to the 31st, closer to Halloween, Samhain, I think is a little after it, technically, you're going to actually do it. But it's good. Like, this whole time is about romance, about prosperity. There's a lot of good energy here. I feel like what mostly makes you nervous is the friends and family that you had before this relationship started. People who don't know this other person or are kind of like, what's happening, like a little thrown off. I feel like that's where your stress is mostly going to be. But I think you'll be fine. I feel like you're just going to kind of power through it and you'll be fine. It's just going to take a little while to get used to it. I think you might have to go. It might take a couple months for them to get used to it, I feel like. But I'm not feeling like it's bad. Once it's done, it's done. I just feel like you might have some whiners in your circle who just might keep harping on it, like that they didn't like the decision, even though the decision might be done, said and done. I feel like you might have some harpers after that. All right, well, thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like a personal read from me, just shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.